Hello, so this video is part 2 in my bucket list series, my list I call 100 Desires. So I'm excited to share with you the next items that I got to check off. It's kind of fun reliving these and going through the photos and having the memories that went along with them. So I hope you enjoy. I also want to say that one of the things that makes this list so special to me is I had always had this dream of world travel, but I didn't get to do it. I was an 18-year-old mom. I wasn't married. I spent the first half of my life just working really hard. And for me to get to travel the way that I have, like I used to do what everybody else does. I used to, take one vacation a year, maybe go someplace cool. But to get to travel the way that I had for the past couple of years was something very new and very different for me. And maybe one of the most selfish couple of years, the most selfish year of my life, but also one of the best years of my life. So I'm loving taking this walk down memory lane with you and sharing this desire list. And I hope that you're inspired to write your own list, and I hope that you'll share it with me. So I always have to mention, like the video, subscribe, make a comment. I love hearing what you all have to say. So enjoy the video. The 11th thing that I checked off was number 82, which was do an indoor skydive. I didn't do a normal skydive on the list because I'd already done that, but I hadn't done an indoor skydive. So Ange and I did this one in Las Vegas, and it wasn't nearly as terrifying as an actual skydive, but it was a pretty cool experience to just get suited up and to be in there just like floating in the air. Number 72 on my list was wear colored contacts. Everyone in my family has blue eyes except for me, and I have, brown eyes. So when I was growing up, I was always so jealous of their beautiful blue eyes, and I always wanted blue eyes. So I had the opportunity to experience what it was like to have blue eyes by wearing colored contacts. Number 17 on my list, this one's gonna sound a little bit funny, but it was do an erotic dance in public. And I chose that one because a lot of the girls that I was in the workshop with were taking these dance classes, and I'd seen them on stage, and I just thought they looked so beautiful. So I checked this one off. We were finishing up the workshop. We had our final weekend in Paris. So I checked this one off. We were at a bar on the River Seine, and one of the girls in my workshop says, "I dare you to get up on that table and do your dance right now." So I did. And as I was getting down off the table, I took her by the hand and I pulled her up so she could dance on the table. And there were about 40 of us in the bar that night. And one by one, each of them ended up getting on the table and dancing. So I started what turned out to be like the best, most fun evening. And even other people that weren't with us, other women, from other tables were coming over so they could have a turn dancing on the table. That one was absolutely a super fun, memorable night. And it was a lot of camaraderie to get to check this off and to see everyone else join in and do it too. So number 66 on my list was take my daughter to Paris for her birthday. And I just happened to already be in Paris because we were winding up the seminar series that I had taken. So I just flew Misty over and had her join me. And one of the sister goddess friends, that's what we call each other, had figured out that the ball of Versailles was at the end of the seminar. So she made arrangements for us to get tickets. She made arrangements for transportation back and forth from the ball. So it was amazing. I got to share that experience. So for Misty's birthday, We spent it dressed up in these beautiful ball gowns, and we got to attend the Ball of Versailles in Paris. In June of 2017, I checked off the 12th thing that I had written down, which was vacation in Prague. From the trip to Paris, one of the other girls in my seminar group, Adrian, was planning a trip to Spain, and she was going to be gone about 3 more weeks or so, and she was looking for a travel partner. So I love saying yes. So she asked me to meet her in Spain, which I did. And then from there, we went to Prague. Prague is such a beautiful city with all of the bridges and the waterways that go through there. So I loved getting to share that experience with Adrian. The 16th thing that I got to check off was number 41 on my list. Number 41 was swim in a fountain. So Adrian and I went from Prague, we rode the train down to Budapest, and I saw these kids, like we were in a park and I saw these kids swimming in the fountain. So I thought, okay, I probably won't get arrested if I get in, and this is my opportunity to check this one off. So I love that I got to swim in a fountain in Budapest. The 17th thing that I checked off of my list was number 26, which was kiss at the top of the London Eye. So at this point, I'm in London by myself, and I go to the London Eye, which is a giant Ferris wheel with pods, kind of like the high roller in Las Vegas. So I get there, I'm alone, and I'm determined that I'm going to check this one off of my list. So I get on the pod, and there's probably 15 people in there. And I just kind of make this announcement to everyone. And I said, I'm traveling around the world and I have this bucket list. And one of the things on my list is to kiss at the top of the London Eye. And I'm hoping that someone here will help me out. So this one, I had a couple of volunteers that were pretty darn cute. So at the top of the London Eye, I got a kiss here and a kiss here. And this one turned out absolutely better than I could have imagined. Number 14 on my list was see Niagara Falls. And it's really a magnificent place. And it was transformational for me because I did some, I'll call it ceremony, while I was at Niagara Falls. I did a releasing ceremony. So what I did is I picked up this handful of big maple leaves, and one by one I tossed them over the falls, and I released things that were burdening me. Like I released the need to be right. I released the anger that I was having over my divorce, and just it was a really special experience for me to do that. I think there's a lot of value in ceremony. And so it felt like doing that ceremony was a cleansing for me. And Niagara Falls is absolutely spectacular. I was at dinner that night, and just a view of the falls, and it was another one of those, look at this view, like look at this life. It's amazing. 62 on the list was snorkel the underwater museum in Cancun. I'd seen photographs of this place, so I get to Cancun, I book the excursion, to go snorkeling here, and we had a great time. We went snorkeling. We got to do all these like really cool things on the excursion. And at the end of the day, we hadn't been to the underwater museum. So I asked the guy, I'm like, I thought we were going to the underwater museum. He says, oh, well, the water was a little rough over there today, so we skipped it. And I was like, that's the whole reason I booked this excursion. So fortunately, I had, more time in Cancun, and I was able to book it for another day, and I got to check that one off. But that was a good lesson for me, like, do the excursion early, because things don't always work out the way that you plan. So if you're determined to do a specific thing, do it early. And if it doesn't work out, you have more time to get it done. 74 on my list, and the 20th thing that I got to check off was hike Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing is in Zion National Park. It's about a 2.5 hour drive from Las Vegas. And my friend Rich Newcomb went with me on this hike. Now, this hike, it's a very windy trail. There's a chain at the top of the ridge that you hold on to. You see drop-offs on both sides of you. It is absolutely not for everyone. There were people trying to hike it that just got terrified and couldn't go any further. And Rich was so awesome to hike with. He's in much better shape than I was, and he could kind of keep going. It was a warm day, and I would literally walk from one shady spot to the next and have to stop fairly often just to catch my breath. But when we got to the top and saw the view, it was incredible. Number 16 on my list was go to Burning Man. My friends Mike and Bobby gave me a call, and they said, we think we can get you a ticket to Burning Man and an into a camp. So I think having a camp and a group to go with is really important at Burning Man. So whenever they called me, it occurred to me like this one just kind of came up out of nowhere. Like I didn't go searching for a ticket. I didn't go searching for a group. I just randomly get this phone call. So that's when I decided that, and this is going to sound a little woo-woo, and I know it, that the things on the list want me to do them. Like the things on the list are looking for me. Like not just I want to do these things. So I ended up going to Burning Man, participating in this camp with a group of people from Texas and Portland, Oregon, and kind of all over. But Burning Man is an experience. It's like you never know what you're going to see walk by or drive by. It's a huge art festival in the desert. Burning Man is about 3 hours from Reno, Nevada. Whenever they start setting up the camp, it's insane. They create this huge city out of nothing. And when they finish, everything is taken down, and they're very much about no trace left behind. So not even a scrap of paper left behind. And there are 70,000 people that attend Burning Man. It's really unlike anything I've ever seen before. So that concludes my second video in the bucket list series. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe. If you guys keep watching, I'll keep posting content, and we'll see you next time.